So this time I won't hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're sorry.
Join our membership program, sign up, find out what's going on, become a patron, and support our work. We're doing these amazing virtual live streams covering events, marches, protests, and actions that mainstream media just isn't covering.
A lot of these very common sense policy interventions aren't given the space they need.
You know, the truth is, before we have the political revolution, we need a media revolution.
We really see this opening in the media space, with television transitioning to the internet in particular. Streaming platforms, Netflix, Hulu, etc., are the next frontier.
And we're not mainstream media. You're not getting a 10-second clip and a very watered down, whitewashed version of what's going on.
Having a media company to support these kind of movement efforts is extremely valuable.
People want to talk to us because they know that we're talking to the people.
We need a dedicated, empowered, honorable base of people who are willing to fight for what they believe in.
This needs to be all of us, not just like watching great content, not just sharing great content, but taking the correlated action and making sure that together these movements are more effective across the board.
We are amplifying activists' messages, activist movements, activist campaigns, activist call to action. There's no more important work to be done in this country right now, and ACT TV is doing it, and we need you to be a member. Go to act.tv and sign up to be a member today.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show. The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
His first car was destroyed.
Russia was intensifying its attack on Ukraine's east on Tuesday as it sought a decisive victory in Mariupol, prompting Western governments to pledge more arms and sanctions. Thousands of Russian troops backed by artillery and rocket barrages were advancing in what Ukrainian officials called the Battle of the Donbass. Russia bombarded the Azovstal steel plant, the main remaining stronghold in Mariupol, with bunker-buster bombs, a Ukrainian presidential advisor said late on Tuesday, after an ultimatum by Russia for Ukrainian troops to lay down their weapons had lapsed. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned Moscow for blocking any attempts to organize humanitarian corridors and save people.
The Russian army will forever inscribe itself in world history as perhaps the most barbaric and inhuman army in the world, deliberately killing civilians, destroying residential quarters and civilian infrastructure, and using all kinds of weapons, including those prohibited by international conventions, is already the brand signature of the Russian army.
The United States, Canada, Britain, France, and Germany on Tuesday pledged more support to Ukraine, including sending heavy artillery and ammunition. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby.
I would just say, without getting into what other nations are providing, that they have received additional platforms and parts to be able to increase their fleet size, their aircraft fleet size. I think I'd leave it at that.
In Mariupol, a humanitarian catastrophe has unfolded. Tens of thousands of residents have been trapped with no access to food or water, and bodies litter the streets. Ukraine believes more than 20,000 civilians have died there. Russia has denied targeting civilians in its invasion of Ukraine and says without evidence that signs of atrocities were staged. Video released by Ukraine's Azov battalion purported to show people living in the underground network beneath the steel plant, where they say hundreds of women, children, and elderly civilians are sheltering with diminishing supplies.
We lost our home. We lost our livelihood. We want to live a normal, peaceful life. We want to get out of here. There are lots of children in here. They're hungry. Get us out of here, we beg you. We've already cried out all the tears we have. We can't cry anymore.
Reuters could not independently verify where or when the video was shot. Shells and rockets also hit Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, officials said, wrecking apartment blocks and other buildings. Officials said 4 people were killed and 14 wounded. Reuters journalists saw the bodies of 3 people, apparently killed by shrapnel, lying on the pavement.
That was an update on what's happening in Ukraine from Reuters. There is no question that whenever there is war, there will be war crimes. And there is a level of dishonesty and disingenuousness that is coming from those supporters of Vladimir Putin and Putin himself, suggesting that they have the ability to execute a war with precision and that they have the ability to execute this war without killing civilians. We all know that not to be true. We all know that in the fog of war, there will be casualties and there will be war crimes, casualties amongst civilians. And this is why we advocate so vehemently against war, all wars of every stripe, from Yemen to Kiev. But yet here we are in a stage of human development where we're having what is presented as a reasonable conversation between a barbarian, the butcherer of Bucha, Vladimir Putin, and the rest of the entire international community, to which Vladimir Putin is now claiming foul. He's not pleased with the reaction from the international community, the rejection of all of Russia, quite honestly, because of his actions, the accountability. He wants to reject accountability. He wants the rest of the world to continue to treat Russia as if they are not engaged in a bloody war that is causing and committing war crimes. They want to be able to go ahead and come to the Olympics like everything is fine. They want you to go ahead and continue to buy gas from them like everything is fine. They want you to continue to invite them to the table of good faith when they have demonstrated that they have no intention whatsoever of engaging in good faith with the rest of the entire international community. And yet, here we are watching as this escalates and having to deal with arguments from people from both sides of the political spectrum. In fact, they're so closely related. I believe the horseshoe theory has been proven. But we have people both on the left side of the equation, as well, ostensible left, and the right side of the equation, trying to make us not give a damn about the images coming out of Ukraine, of the hospitals being burned out, of the bodies on the ground. They want us to not care because they're disappointed in America. Well, get in line. Have you seen what America does to Black people? If the white supremacists of January 6th are so angry at America that they are willing to turn this country over to Vladimir Putin, as stated loosely by Steve Bannon, suggesting that we should support Vladimir Putin. Do you remember why? David, I guess I'm throwing an audible here. Go get me the clip of Steve Bannon explaining why he supported Vladimir Putin. It's where he says at least Russia knows where men and women go to the bathroom, respectively. At least this is their justification. The justification from the right wing of this country, of the United States of America, as to why we should wholesalely support Vladimir Putin and his war crimes in Ukraine is because Russia knows whose men's bathroom is whose. It is as ridiculous as it sounds, but this is what they said, and we'll have the clip for you momentarily. But here we are looking at war crimes on the international scale, and we are engaging with bad faith actors as if they had any intention of engaging in good faith in the first place. If they did, we would not be here where we are right now. There should not be a war happening right now, let alone any other war. I actually do want to shift gears pretty hard because I want to show America and the rest of the international community what America does. I want to show, actually play that clip if you have it, Dwayne. Play the clip of Steve Bannon explaining.
I'm getting ready.
As we get that up, we'll get a chance to get that in. I want to shift gears. Your old boy in Syracuse, New York, who was brutally accosted by the Syracuse police. The video has now gone extremely viral, and everyone has seen it with their own eyes. We'll come back to the Steve Bannon clip, but I want everyone to see very clearly what America does to its people, particularly Black people. And so while we're flanking this conversation with what's happening in Ukraine, I want us to be sure that there are problems here at home. And that, say that again?
We don't have that clip.
Let's get it. Let's get that clip because it's important. It's important for us to see this clip on repeat. And this is a clip of the 8-year-old boy in Syracuse, New York, as he was being tossed around like a criminal over a bag of chips, that he had taken. Now, here's the thing. Whether or not the boy stole the bag of chips should not even come into the conversation. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about bad faith actors. There are people who are in the conversation on the national and the international scale and who are sent intentionally to obfuscate the conversation. They are sent intentionally to keep us from advancing the conversation. There are disruptors who put bad faith arguments into the national discourse. And one of the worst ones is somebody who can look at us and say he should not have stolen a bag of chips. But here we are in the year 2022, after we've seen all of the brutality, after we saw what happened to George Floyd, after we saw what happened to Tamir Rice, after we saw what happened to every Philando Castile, the names as they're coming to us, we have seen it. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that this country has a track record of treating American Black citizens like we are nothing. And they're asking us to allow them to continue to do this to our children. Brother Carl Mack, I want to bring you into the conversation before we get to that video. We played it yesterday and it's very triggering, but I need us to play it again because I want to make sure that we keep in front of America and the entire international community exactly what it is that happens in this country on a daily basis. Good morning to you, brother. How are you?
Oh, good morning, my brother. Listening to you, I and just, again, thinking about the 8-year-old boy, thinking about what's happening in Ukraine, all of these issues, Ben, there are very few times I'm just kind of speechless on something. And this issue of what is taking place, America damn near is as mad as Putin, especially when it comes to us. I don't understand how you could be in that profession as a law enforcement officer. An 8-year-old child, I don't give a damn what he did, Ben. I don't care what he did. I don't understand how, if you are in law enforcement and you saw how polarizing, how chilling it was on May 25th, 2020, how this country came face to face with a cry that we as a people have been giving them since the advent of law enforcement. Because on that day, Ben, there was nobody that could be in denial about what we've been talking about. And now you are in that profession and you have a decision to make about, as you stated, you have a decision to make whether he stole or didn't steal. He's an 8-year-old child. You're trying to tell me this is the best that you could do in dealing with this situation is to just thug out on this child. And so, Ben, if ever there's a situation that just puts you deep inside the psyche of white America, especially around law enforcement, a situation like this. But then, I feel stupid being saying a situation like this should do it because every one of these damn situations ought to tell you.
You know what, Dr. Matt, and it's too often in this country where we have to, after seeing our loved ones treated like animals and oftentimes killed on video, we as Black people have to have and keep our composure and move along as if this is okay. But I'm going to tell you the honest truth, Dr. Mack, this right here, this particular video is enough because they require us to have no concern whatsoever for our own children. In order for us to turn an eye for this, to this, on this, away from this, in order for us to look away, we would have to have no regard for our children whatsoever. So I want to play this clip again, and I want to give a content warning. It has a lot of profanity, and it does show police violence against children. Take a look.
What is y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What is y'all doing?
Guess. Take a guess what I'm doing.
Hey, he like a baby to me. Why you?
Guess what I'm doing.
I don't know what you doing. I just see you snatch him up off the.
No.
So what? So what's going on then?
You're stealing stuff. If he breaks into your house to steal something.
Nah, man. What you saying? A bag of chips? So y'all treat me like a whole cold-blooded fucking killer?
Keep walking, dude. You don't even know what you're
keep
talking
walking.
about.
I know what I just came up and see. I know the fuck I just came up and see.
Okay, what did you see?
I see y'all snatching him up a bike like he a fucking grown-ass man.
Wasn't him.
Ain't he saying it wasn't him? Fuck is y'all doing?
That's crazy. How old is he? 10 years
Fuck is y'all talking about, man?
That's against the law.
Fuck is y'all doing?
Old, you cannot put that.
What is y'all doing? Take the fucking chips. If you stole some chips, I'll pay for them. I'll pay for them. You don't even know where he lives. Y'all just throwing him in the fucking car.
That's what they do. They come here.
Fuck is y'all doing? Bro? Leave him alone.
It's on camera. That's all we can do.
He a kid.
Now, the father of the 8-year-old has spoken out, obviously, stating that his son was mistreated by the police. And this is exactly what I was talking about, Dr. Mack. After we see our children be accosted by the police and so oftentimes killed by the police, we have to turn around and comport ourselves and do a press conference and keep our composure in the face of a country that has made it clear that it has no regard for the safety of our children.
So Ben, let me just tell you exactly how this, what my thoughts are right now. So right now I feel like a punk ass. That's the way I feel. Because I'm not built to sit down and watch a videotape like this and then talk about it.
That's right.
It's not, I know what I was like when I was in them streets as a civil rights advocate. Then I'm not, so right now I'm feeling some kind of way about just sitting here watching it, talking about it. There's a part of, I know what I would have normally done, if I'm there. I just know how it is. So right now, I don't even want to say anything because I feel like a punk ass. I just feel that kind of way because trust and believe. Me in my element, I'm gonna whoop somebody's monkey ass over this one. Trust and believe that. It's just so I ain't shit else I got to say about that. I'm in my feelings right now.
Dr. Mack, say less. I want to move now to the conversation about Marie Le Pen. And I do want to show the connectivity between all these stories, because a lot of times, Dr. Mack, things that happen there in the United States of America flies under the radar because, well, when we on the international stage, because of the complexity of what's happening on the international stage. But right now, we are faced with the resurgence of a right-wing fascistic movement across the entirety of this planet. We've seen it in Vladimir Putin without question. We saw it with the comeback of the rise, rather, of Donald Trump. And now we're seeing it with the comeback of Marie Le Pen. According to The Guardian, they are reporting that the televised debate between French President Emmanuel Macron, who has taken a hard stance against Vladimir Putin, and his far-right rival, Marie Le Pen, could determine the course of this weekend's election in France. On April 20th, the highly anticipated debate was screened live on television, radio, and online, and reports say that the debate's first clash occurred over salaries when Macron gets into the minutia. But here's what I want to point out, the most important thing is, Emmanuel Macron only leads Marie Le Pen by 12 points, and there's 13% who are undecided. Here's why this matters. Dr. Mack, for those who don't even have any idea who Marie Le Pen is and care about French politics, she is another piece in the right-wing playbook, chess playbook of Vladimir Putin. And they are a part of this right-wing cabal, and they have no compunction whatsoever about their right-wing hardline fascism. They are very clear, and so is Marie Le Pen, which is why this is atrocious. For those people who aren't looking on the international stage, while we are seeing January 6th happen here domestically, while we are seeing the police state do what it does to Black people every single day, we are also seeing their allies, the allies of January 6ers, the allies of the people who are opposing critical race theory anywhere they see it, even in math books. The allies of that right-wing movement are winning and closing in the gap on the international stage. And it really is kind of a salt in an open wound for anyone who watches international politics. Dr. Mack, we saw Marie Le Pen defeated 4 years ago, and here we now see her coming back with the possibility of she was defeated and now coming back and getting this crown. This would be just like Donald Trump coming back in 2024. If we're not careful, we could see this happening here in the United States.
Ben, and I'm going to put this way, and I certainly don't want every woman out there in the world to take issue with me about this. But there was a time in my life, up until this very, very moment with this woman, that I honestly believed that the world would be a much, much better and safer place if women ruled the world in politics and in business, because they just didn't appear to have that kind of nastiness that we as the male species does. And now I'm looking at this chick. I'm looking at this crazy ass woman here in this country.
Right.
You give me
Marjorie Neanderthal Green. Go ahead.
So see, these two women have absolutely put the brakes. Now women around the world, in general, I think you're brilliant. Now, I would just tell you, and I've said this to you before, my ex-wife, she ain't the smartest person I ever dated. My ex-wife is the smartest person I know. She, it ain't like she's just the smartest woman. the woman is brilliant. So I hold women in high regard. But I'm gonna tell you something, members of the female species. These cruiser eating heifers, they set it in the back of my mind. I'm just letting you know. These two ain't doing y'all no favor. Her and Marjorie Taylor. Now, if I was all of y'all, I'd be like, damn it, do you know that Brother Mac was on the verge of giving us world-renowned leadership?
Oh, man.
Two buffoons. And then think about that, though. You know, and I hate to make light of what you're saying, but I'm just letting you inside my mind here, right? But Ben, think about it. How could somebody in the midst of watching what Putin is doing, how could you be undecided? How could you be? So when you talk about, and Ben, I will tell you this. Sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I think Ben might be going a little bit too far when he's thinking about right-wing world domination. Sometimes I think that, you know, maybe Ben's just a little out there. The more I'm listening to you and I'm watching these pieces fall into place, the more dead on you are, my brother. So I want to thank you for enlightening me and showing me because you have been saying that, Ben, and I promise to you, I've kind of, I love you, black man.
You thought I was losing it for a second there, didn't you?
Just a little bit, Ben. Just like, damn, it's every day 420 for Ben. It's being celebrated every damn day. But the more I'm watching and these pieces fall into place, the more insightful I'm finding you to be. So,
man, Brother Mac, I appreciate your honesty. And this is why I love this. I love talking with you, because one thing we do is we tell each other the truth, and we don't care where we are, even if we're alive.
Right.
And it's beautiful.
I'm saying I got to believe that, maybe women want to say, I didn't think Karl Mack was sexist. I'm not sexist. I'm just telling you, for you brilliant sisters out there,
that's right.
Y'all better galvanize and take these two wenches, and y'all better they not helping the cause. I'm telling you.
Here's the thing I was going to say, Brother Mac. Here's the analysis. Here's the thing. Actually, I didn't lose my mind this summer. We've been going through a whole pandemic in the country that has allowed, I think at the peak, we had like 2,000 or 3,000 people dying a day. So, I think all of us has suffered some level of mental health crisis during this pandemic. And if we didn't, I wonder what's wrong with them. But to your point, it is a very salient point, Brother Mac. There's this thing that particularly liberals like to do, which is to say everything is fine so long as we put up the right percentage of women, the right percentage of Black people, the right percentage of LGBTQIA. Like, we don't have to change the system so long as we have a particular type of representation. And we see specifically with Marie Le Pen, as well as Marjorie Neanderthal Green, that just putting, hell, we could think of Clarence Thomas. You know what I mean? Everyone who looks like us doesn't represent us. And that fake and empty, meaningless representation has to come to an end. So.
Enough said, brother. My mentor has always told me, when somebody says all there needs to say, there really ain't much else to. So I'm going to leave that right there.
Say less. We're going to move on to another Neanderthal out of the state of Florida. Ron DeSantis is pushing his fight with Disney even further. And this is in his election year, Dr. Mack. Now, Disney finally came out against the Don't Say Gay legislation and the anti-trans legislation in the state of Florida that directly targets LGBTQ youth, children. Disney finally, after the legislation had been signed into law, finally came out. So I don't want us to exonerate Disney or elevate Disney, because they should have said something before it was signed into law. But now they've chosen their sides. And Ron DeSantis said that's too much. Even though Disney didn't say anything until after the law came into being, Ron DeSantis said that is entirely too much. And now he's trying to revoke their special privilege that they have in the state of Florida. He is picking this fight, Dr. Mack, during an election year. I'm not entirely sure if it was the smartest move But considering Disney did nothing until the last second, maybe he doesn't expect Disney to actually do anything to fight back, which is why he's being cavalier. I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't seem like good politics to attack Disney in the heart of Florida during his reelection year. What do you think?
Being it is absolutely, first of all, he absolutely knows what he's doing. And it is absolutely good politics when you are playing from his playbook. Go back from the moment that this clown started. You got to remember, first and foremost, I have told you, I've said it over and over again, trust and believe that the playbook for politics and the Republican Party has been established by negative 45. The moment that they are, and I love the name that you've given Marjorie Green Taylor, Neanderthal. From the moment that negative 45, the king of the Neanderthals, from the moment that he put that playbook out, he flipped the whole game, Ben. Everybody now decided the more radical on that side of it that I can go, the more endearing there's a certain group of people are going to be with me. Now, Ben, just slow down for a moment and just think. The more radical I can be, the more support I'm going to be. Remember, negative 45, who was it that he didn't talk about? Negative 45 is going into an election, and he is on videotape talking about what he can do to women whenever, however, whatever. And through all of that, this fool gets elected. At that point, when he became negative 45, he just said whatever he wanted to say,
That's right.
Do whatever he wanted to do. To involve Russians in American politics, to now cause a riot, an insurrection against American democracy, and now there's still talk of him running again.
Yeah.
At this point, he didn't show you we could do whatever. So now take this down to Florida. And DeSantis has been saying, he's been acting for the longest that he wanted to be next in line to run for president. And he wants to appeal to negative 45's base. You can't be no more appealing than to go after Mickey Benny.
Which has been an interesting partnership since the beginning, right? I want to get to that conversation in a minute because we have clips of Ron DeSantis making this declaration, but we also have a second clip of them protesting, these supporters, these negative 45 Donald Trump supporters that you speak of, protesting outside of Disney. I want us to run the first clip. This is Ron DeSantis escalating his war on Disney because of their disagreement. Let's take a listen.
But I am announcing today that we are expanding the call of what they are going to be considering this week. And so, yes, they will be considering the congressional map, but they also will be considering termination of all special districts that were enacted in Florida prior to 1968, and that includes the Reedy Creek Improvement District.
Now, that particular district is the district that is inclusive of Disney's special privilege that they have enjoyed for decades. Now, I don't personally care about that privilege. I'm not going to support a corporation's tax incentive, right? So I'm not going to get caught in that trap. But at the end of the day, what this does ultimately is creates that fury that you were talking about, Dr. Mack. Here's a clip of Donald Trump supporters outside of Disney saying that if you go to or support Disney, you are a pedophile. I shit you not. Let's take a listen in.
If you do business with Disney, you support pedophiles. You support child molesters, groomers, creepy old people that prey on children, child porn freaks. We say no to all of them. We say no. No more. No more business with Disney. Go woke, go broke. You go woke, you go broke. Shame on all of you that go into Disney and give them your money. Shame. Shame on all of you. We love our wonderful Governor Ron DeSantis, who's protecting our children, who's protecting our future generation. Thank God DeSantis is alive, and he's fighting for Floridians and across the country. Yeah, you put your thumb down because you support pedophiles. You weirdos, you leftists, you Marxists and communists. You support that. You support pedophiles and groomers and child molesters and child porn freaks and weirdos. We say no to all that. We say no to all that.
But yet, Dr. Mack, these people don't say no to the violence that we just saw against that young 8-year-old black boy. They don't say anything about the violence that we see against Black people all around this country, against brown people and Black people all across the global South. We don't see them say anything. Matter of fact, they're on the opposite side. They support Vladimir Putin in Ukraine, and they say nothing about the war in Yemen, where children are starving by the hundreds of thousands. Last year, 400,000. They estimated 400,000 people, children, starved in Yemen. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr. Mag.
Help me remember this, Ben. I'm having a very senior moment now. There was a racial situation in this country during Negative 45's administration in Charlotte, I believe.
Yeah, Charlottesville. Mm-hmm.
What did Negative 45 say about that? He said,
there were good people on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought that wasn't rhetorical.
That's right. That's right. There are good people on both sides. So when you asked a question about what we would think or they would expect to say about what happened to that 8-year-old child, you absolutely know it. So, again, Ben, listen at what this man said. Our beloved Governor DeSantis.
That's right.
This is the base that he is playing to. And he could not take a more solid position in trying to appeal to that base than to go after Mickey and Minnie. This is exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. But trust and believe this, Ben. I was in the state of Washington when the company that was founded in the state, anchored and rooted in the state, decided to move their world headquarters out of the state of Washington and move, I believe, to Chicago. That was the Boeing Airplane Company. That was, now granted that Boeing has hangars and they have a tremendous amount of facilities, so they couldn't uproot and just move everything. But the world headquarters, that was a blow to the city of Seattle. It was a blow to the state of Washington. Trust and believe, Ben, that if there was a place that had the kind of climate that maybe Florida has, and Disney could just uproot everything. If Disney took the same kind of approach that, say, Elon Musk did with California. Elon Musk said, you know what, California, I'm sick and tired of dealing with your Jerry Lewis nonsense. So I'm up out of here. And he took his business to Texas. And there was
Lord. James, fade some. I forgot Dr. Carl Mack liked Elon Musk. I forgot you're going to use him in a positive way.
Wait a minute now, listen. I can appreciate the man's genius, but again, when you genius like that, you are so thin on the other side of insanity. So, the things that I like, but look.
Maybe that's what happened to me this summer, Dr. Mack. I'm sorry. Listen, I need you to hold that thought only because we're coming up on the break. Please hold that thought. Don't lose it. When we come back, we're going to be on the clock with Georgia Ford. DJ Exclusive is in the house. We will be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show right after this break.
I'm telling you right now, I'm holding out.
All right, good morning, everybody. I hope you are having a beautiful morning like I am. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat room. Y'all know the voice, y'all know the sound. It is your boy, James Bubba Williams, DJ Exclusive, is in the building. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope your 420 is off the chain like mine was. Yeah! Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Shout out Letitia, whatever her name was in the chat room, talking about she's anti-LGBTQ. Well, baby, you was in the wrong goddamn place, and we're glad to see you come. Welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. On the Clock is coming up next with Georgia Ford. You do not want to miss it. Good morning, everybody. Like 1, 2, 3. She thought this was. Kareem, good morning. Roller Dragon. Shout out to Roller Dragon. Latif, what's going on? Tiger. Hey, y'all. Walker, Brendan Johnson. Cosmo, good morning, y'all. Al Booker, Esther Brochen, good morning. Boondocks Dragon, good morning to you. Hey, Miss Sophia. I see you. Good morning. KFZ, good morning to you. Purposes manifested. Good morning. Moonmeat, good morning. Carly Wynn, good morning. Snack Panther, what's going on? Tiger, this for you. Hope you feel better, Tiger. Get better soon. We can't have sick tigers out here walking around and everything.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do.
Calvin Johnson, good morning. Anna, good morning to you.
Take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's falling
I'm looking like a real camera today and not somebody painting. T Tweety, good morning.
Get what you're going through. Nobody can get what you've done. Nobody can get what you're going through. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? Gotta get it done. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? Gotta get it done. Matter of the thing I've never fallen down. Shovel up the dirt, I'm taking shit from them. Bring it back to the middle. Take it back to the rhythm. Bringing up the bell for the falling of the sun. Shifting, getting front to the beating of the drum. Beat it up to the inner mode. Stop, start, down. Nobody can get what you're going through. Nobody can get what you've done. Nobody can get what you're going through.
Dwayne, what do you call a cow in an earthquake? A milkshake. Iris Jones, good morning, Iris. Y'all, today I saw someone waving and I wasn't sure whether they were waving at me or at someone behind me. In other news, I was fired from my lifeguard job.
I need all the wins.
Good morning to you, Scrooge.
Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get
shout out to Mama and Daddy. I think Mama's at work this morning, so shout out to Mama.
You better move, you might get
shout out Tiger, thank you for the super chat. Says, Bubba, you'll always be our Renaissance painting. Thank you, Tiger.
Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. Down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business.
Elizabeth Lawson, good morning. Y'all stay tuned, man. On the clock. It's starting momentarily. You don't want to miss it. Everybody's in the building. Y'all stay tuned.
Watch out, get ahead. Watch out.
Dragon Dan, good morning. Tracy Jones, good morning to you.
Watch out, get away. I don't think they really want to come against the winner. Got to think about the pen on the grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you can pay. I'm a line, but the winner about the cage. I need all
right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. It is time to get it. So we are on the clock. Good morning, everybody.
Better move out the way because I'm coming with harder hits.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. We are on the clock with Georgia Fort. Good morning, Sister Fort. And we are actually joined again by Dr. Carl Mack. Brother Mack, it's good to have you back. You had some thoughts. I know you said you were having a senior moment before we left, but I didn't want you to get out of here before you got a chance to finish your thoughts on both Elon Musk as well as what you were discussing behind the scenes on break.
Yeah. Good morning, Sister Fort. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, and yourself?
Good. Thank you. I was just trying to capsulize just all of it. And so this is what that is come to mind with me. Let us remember that Ukraine at one time had the third largest stockpile of nuclear weapons in the world. And Ukraine agreed to give those nuclear weapons up for the sake of, quote, world peace. Now that they've given them up, we've watched this monster known as Vladimir Putin invade their country. I am without doubt that if Ukraine still had their nuclear weapons, Putin would not be doing what he's doing. And so right. Now, think about the violence that we are now seeing in America. America is one of the most violent nations internally in the world, but one could say externally as well, because let us not forget, this is the only nation in the world that has ever dropped a nuclear bomb on another country. So I am of the mindset that this is, if I'm Ukraine, if I'm any other nation, you can never talk to me about giving up my nuclear weapons and now having you to say to me, well, Carl, look, just give them up, because if anything happens, we got your back. Because that is what the world said to Ukraine, and they didn't do it. See, so in this country, when we watch what happens to our people over and over again, and Sister Ford, you've been so diligent in reporting this. What happens when we take a playbook from the Black Panthers and say, you know what, it's about damn time we start arming ourselves. Right. And when these thug-ass pigs come into our community, and now you want to mess with our children, you want to mess with our women, okay, come on. You want to open war inside this nation, here it is. So I got to just leave it alone, because I'm looking at Ukraine and I'm thinking about the same thing. When we left Afghanistan, we told those people when we came in, for those of you, if you would help us, we got your back. And what did we do? When it was time to leave, we didn't give a damn about them. So, I'm going to just leave that there. I'm going to go back to my research, tell both of you I love you. But in the words of Climax, I got to go. Bye.
Dr. Carl Mack, it's always a pleasure.
Drop the mic.
Georgia Ford, we're on your time here. How you doing this morning, sis?
Yeah, I am doing well. Here in Minneapolis, we are, on a lighter note, acknowledging our icon, Prince. He passed away 6 years ago today. And, the interesting thing is, you would think that there would be a bigger footprint for him here in the city, because he was an international music icon, right? But there's been a group of folks who have been working to get this mural up in downtown Minneapolis in his honor. It's finally happening, but it's taken like 7 years. And so I'll have more on of that on my page a little bit later today. But it's interesting. There's, huge murals up for Bob Dylan, but I hate to think it's because he's Black. But I don't know what else to conclude to. Why hasn't the city embraced him and really turned purple for him, outside of the Super Bowl? There's no, if you're a tourist and you're coming here outside of First Avenue and Paisley Park, his home where he lived, his studio, there's nothing that really represents that he was from here. So I think folks are 6 years past his death starting to recognize that and rally together with his family and, try to do what they can to honor him. Funny story. I went to see Prince perform at Paisley Park before he died, and he had 4 encores. It was amazing. He didn't let any, alcohol in the facility. So it was just pure energy that people had and love for his music. After the concert, my sister and I were hanging out in the lobby, and we met him. And so we were fangirling. It was the best night ever. And then I had a radio show at the time, so I was trying to get him to come on. I was trying to interview him. I got his contact information. And so before he came on the interview, he's like, I just have to let you know that I'm a Prince impersonator.
Oh, no.
So it wasn't even.
I would be. Oh, come on. I love the way you told that story, because you made us experience the same disappointment you experienced. Because I was like, yeah, my homegirl, Georgia Ford, got to meet Prince in interview.
I was you should have seen me leading up to the interview. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a staple of my career. I'm one of the few people he's going to let interview him. Oh my goodness. And then the impersonator was like, I just couldn't go on air and fake like I was him. Oh my goodness.
Oh, talk about catfishing. That had to hurt you. That hurt my heart just now in real time.
But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was overjoyed when I thought I met him. And I don't know if I want to take that back. My sister and I, we bonded that night.
That's right. That's right. No, keep that one. Keep that joy.
Yeah.
And you know, this is interesting that there is no that there's not a significant presence for Prince in that city when you consider his catalog. His music catalog was valued at, I believe, about $160 million. I mean, he's in the in the top echelon of artists, not just because of the value, because if you ask me, that price tag is too low for Prince. I think he should be worth about $1 billion in terms of the music and how it impacts the world, particularly the Black community. So it's not just about that, but it's also about his role in the Black community. Like, he literally is an icon all the way back. Did you see the clip of him? I think he was talking about teacher unions back when he was a little boy. And he had the same kind of energy and swag and facial expressions. There should be a whole lot more for him there, but I'm glad that the city and now all of us should be commemorating him on today.
Yeah. Well, there will now be a 100-foot mural. And the interesting thing about its positioning is it overlooks First Avenue. So it's almost like he'll be there looking over the iconic venue that was in this movie, Purple Rain. They have all of these stars along First Avenue with names of celebrities, and most of them are silver, except for his. They painted gold. And I thought that was a beautiful nod to him. I was there filming yesterday, actually, and noticed that they changed the color of one other star. They put a red star in the building for George Floyd. So I thought that was a unique way for their business, their organization, to also acknowledge how that devastating moment in Minnesota history has impacted the world as well. So I'm excited to see this mural come to life. I think it's going to be complete and unveiled by June 2nd. So we'll have more on the mural here on the show.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. In Georgia, so we're also looking at these other stories. The pandemic. This is a report that's coming out. Pew Research is showing that as a result of the pandemic, the middle class has declined. This is an interesting correlation that we're seeing. Research suggests that the pandemic has accelerated. The decline of the American middle class has also accelerated. And I know this was one of the conversations we were discussing, that we wanted to talk about this with the audience and get some caller feedback. What are your thoughts? I mean, there's a lot of details to this research, but it really does seem like this is yet another way that the middle class is just taking a blow. Just every 5 years or so, we're just hit with the pandemic, with the recession. We are millennials, and if you're just now in your 40s, you've lived through several economic crises, you've lived through several wars, and now you're living through a pandemic. So it kind of makes sense that this is yet another blow to working families who are living paycheck to paycheck already.
Yeah, I think it's declined from 61% to about 50%. And, when you think about that, that percentage just seems like, oh, well, that's not that much. But when you think about the millions of people who are embodied in those statistics.
Yes.
I mean, we're seeing the tents on the screen. That's why we're seeing these tent cities everywhere across the nation. It's not a problem that's exclusive to one city. And so while those who are not affected by this can look at those situations with judgment, with their nose up in the air, and say, oh, there's better options, you don't know until you know. You don't understand until it hits you. America thought it was a win that our minimum wage was increasing to $15 an hour. But how is that a win when gas has skyrocketed, when the cost of milk and eggs has skyrocketed, when even the cost of fast food, which used to be the safe haven for the poor, they could go and they could get a cheeseburger from McDonald's for 99 cents, $1.07 after tax. That's not the case anymore. Prices are going up and up and up. So yes, while these CEOs have had to succumb to legislation that says, okay, the minimum wage has to be 15, they're like, okay, well, then we're just going to charge more. And I know that it's not just that simple. Obviously, there's been issues with supply chain issues that have caused some of the prices to go up. The cost of fuel and the delivery of a lot of these products has caused the prices to go up. But at the end of the day, Ben, the fallback for these corporations is always to put the cost on the consumer.
That's right. That's right.
So when you have corporations that are making millions and millions and millions, instead of them absorbing the cost increase and giving Americans a break, giving a little wiggle room for the middle class, they're saying, no, you're going to foot the bill. And right. We don't care how it impacts your end of the month bottom line. We care how it affects our end of the year bottom line.
Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, Sister Ford, these companies absolutely pass these costs on. But here's the thing. They've been passing these costs on even before minimum wage was. And in fact, I just, to be sure, we're still fighting to get $15 in some states. In most states, there's only a few victories. And so they are preemptively, as a scare tactic, raising prices when their profits are at records unseen. I just want to make sure people understand, when you have a money over everything attitude, you could have all the money in the world like these corporations. These corporations have profits like no one has ever seen in the history of this planet. But it's still not enough because they are willing to squeeze the last penny out of you. And if you're dying on the side of the street, they'll blame you for not working hard enough. Yet you are an essential worker going to work every day through this pandemic, and you can't even get a livable wage. So we are really locked in a system, Sister Ford, that is cruel and unusual. But we've been desensitized to it so much because we live in it every single day. But the truth is that these corporations are squeezing every penny out of us that they possibly can. I want to remind the callers that this is a segment where we want to get you an opportunity to call in 301-715-8592. The user ID and passcode will be in the various chat rooms. We want to hear from you. But Sister Ford, I can't agree with you more that these are decisions that are being made by corporations. These are not inevitable forces. Inflation is being caused by greed.
We have a caller.
Oh, we already have a caller. Caller, you are live on the air. What is your name, comment, and or question?
I'm not sure if this is me, but yes, this is you from Minneapolis. Sorry, what was that?
This is you. Welcome to the show. What's your name and what's your comment and or question?
Hey there, y'all. So my name's Ricky Calhoun. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Basically, like, what we've been seeing around here is the tear down of pretty much every homeless encampment. They have done some, like, pilot programs, like turning the Kmart down the street from my apartment into, like, some housing for homeless, but they've been mainly pilot programs. And, like, with the housing crisis, like, in full swing again, what do you see as, like, possible solutions to the problem? I mean, in our state, like, if it's winter and you're caught outside and there's nowhere to go at night, like, there's a risk of freezing to death. So, like, what is the game plan from here on out? Like, just let people freeze in the streets, or like, what can we do to resolve this situation?
Absolutely. Thank you for that call, Sister Ford.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question. And I think it's a question that I have asked a lot of city officials here in St. Paul and Minneapolis as I've gone out and streamed a lot of the encampment evictions. And the reason why I would go out and stream those moments is because a lot of people are in denial or have no idea that this is happening. Mainstream media doesn't cover it. And so it's important that people see what is happening to one of the most vulnerable populations in our community, the way that they're treated, the way that the few belongings they do own are discarded, the way that city officials say, oh, we're providing temporary shelter and storage, yet and still you see everything of these people's thrown away. So, put yourself in the shoes of someone who's homeless. if someone offered you to put your belongings in storage for free, wouldn't you put it in storage? So there's these contradictions between what city officials say they're doing and what you actually go and observe with your own eyes. That just doesn't make sense to their narrative. And so to the caller's question, what is the solution? You know, I can't say I fully 100% know what the solution is, but I have been trying to hold the people accountable who are in a position to bring forth a solution, or who are in a position to not throw the homeless people's things away. In some regard, I will say that the exposure of their treatment to homeless people did result in them doing things different. In Minneapolis, the exposure of the treatment of homeless people actually caused MPD and the city of Minneapolis to take a different approach. The last homeless encampment that we just saw evicted yesterday, there was a perimeter. But before anybody had knowledge of what was happening, there was a perimeter established well outside of the encampment by police so that no one could get in. So not even journalists. Press were denied access to go in and to talk to residents of that encampment and ask them how they were being treated, if they were getting resources, if they were being provided transportation to, you know, somewhere safe. So this is an ongoing thing. I will say, though, that I think that each one of us does have a way that we can get involved and we can support a solution. Call your city councilor. Call the person who represents you in the Senate. You know, the caller mentioned an empty building. Think about the business owners who aren't using their buildings. Call them. You know, we obviously, if people are homeless, I don't think they're in a position to figure out this system and find these resources for themselves. And so we see a lot of volunteers here, people getting involved, people helping, people making phone calls, people providing transportation. It really just depends on how involved you want to get. But at this point, we've realized, like, the city they're not addressing it. Some of the shelters are full, or some of the shelters have rules and regulations that are not accessible for non-traditional lifestyles. And we need to set the judgment aside and start making accommodations for people who live alternatively.
You know what? I think I love what you were saying, Georgia. I know we have another caller. Before we get to that caller, I just want to say this. I think the question of the hour is always, who are we willing to be cruel to? Or who are we willing to allow this system to be cruel to? Because we've seen that cruelty in the form of how we treat the homeless, particularly the marginalized, the LGBTQIA homeless community. If we're willing to be cruel to anybody, then we're going to see that cruelty come out, like we saw in New York with Mayor Adams, clearing out those encampments. Next caller, you are live on the air. What is your name, comment, and or question?
This is Eve, calling from Richmond, Virginia. Is this me?
That's you. Mm-hmm. You have the floor.
Okay. All right. So a couple things, rapid fire. Number one, this Sunday, Bernie Sanders is going to have a rally in Richmond, Virginia. There have been a number of Starbucks that are unionized here. So now this is the most Starbucks unionized city in the United States. That's just for anybody in the Richmond area if you're interested. Number two, this one's for DJ Exclusive. I'm not sure how big Prince's footprint could be. Dude was only like 5'2". But listen, the man's a legend. Sorry. The man's a legend. I love him to death. Purple Rain, top 5 songs of all time. But I just had to say it. Number three, this was Professor Mack earlier was discussing Russia and this sort of thing and discussing human rights issues. Or was it you, Ben, who brought up Steve Bannon? I forget.
Yeah, we had that in the first hour, yeah.
Yeah, so just very quickly, in decades and decades ago, actually leading up to America's civil rights issues or becoming forefront in the Civil Rights Act, et cetera, Russia had this common saying, which when people would criticize them for their human rights, Russia would say, "And you lynch your Negroes." It was something along those lines.
That's right.
And so it's just sort of, this is just to echo or to yes and what Professor Mack was saying, that, you know, we really need to make sure that we are taking a very long, hard look at ourselves. And, you know, as Professor Ford said, you know, a minute ago in terms of George Floyd, you know, if we are really going to hold ourselves to a high moral standard and be able to, with any sort of feet on the ground, can we discuss human rights abuses or this sort of thing without acknowledging that babies, I mean, my son is not 8 years old, but, you know, if he ended up taking some candy or a bag of chips, you know, that the punishment would not just be give it back or here's some financial recompense, but instead having him thrown into the back of an SUV is just utterly horrifying.
It's appalling.
Anyway, it's
appalling.
Yeah.
Listen,
rapid.
I want to thank you.
All over the place.
No, you actually weren't. I was going to just thank you for having those enumerated the way that you did and getting through all of them. It was a brilliant call, but we have to hold it there. We got to go to a break. Georgia Fort, it is always a pleasure to have you in our presence. We yield the floor to you, and we love it when you're here. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Prince was really short.
Prince is really short. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Like it or not, it's coming up next. DJ exclusive. It's in your hands, brother. So am I. God.
Ben and Prince probably about the same height, y'all. Anyway, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up next here on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Like it or not, it's going down. Stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. We might have to start that one over.
Flow so sick, it's hazardous. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. It's a bet. You know I ain't letting
You ain't about to be right back in when I'm popping over here.
Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. It's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, this a promise and a threat. I ain't never really want to flex my gifts, but I think it's my time, let me check my wrist. You can never get my
Industrial Lawrence, good morning to you. Big T's Dragon Daddy, good morning. Six Dragon Daddy, good morning to you.
Rock with the team, cause you know that we winning, we with it, we going, we flowing again. I might just go by a Benz. I might just put my Benz.
Good morning. Shout out to my papa that's watching. Good morning, Daddy.
Cause I need $1 million, but I don't need your money, you can pay me in respect. Cause once I do it big, what's to follow is a check. I need 100 bags, nothing more, nothing less. And the ops feel away, cause I'm next, I'm a threat. Oh yeah. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. It's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, this a promise and a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat.
Good morning, Mary C. Just Hearts, Brittany Woods.
You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your
what's going on?
Take my word for it, this a promise and a threat. I been feeling spectacular, flow so sick it's hazardous. Y'all still suck like Dracula. Zip this beat, let's back it up. And I don't care about critics cause they talk too much, and I know that I gotta keep on grinding, finding
DP, good morning.
Mama, I made it, I know that they see me. I'm popping these bottles just like I'm a genie. I'm glad that you made me. It's all in my DNA. I'm up my chips like I'm working for Frito-Lay. And bet it bag on myself. I don't do this for my health. Every thread is a champion. Got the title, need a belt. I don't need your money, you can pay me in respect. Once I do it big, what's to follow is a check. I need 100 bags, nothing more, nothing less. And the ops feel away, cause I'm next.
Jason, good morning to you.
Oh yeah. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat. It's a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. It's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck.
Shout out to Denmark. All right, Dragon. Good morning to you.
Still young spits, but you call me young boss. Eating real good, so a man's gon' floss. Got my weight up in my view real posh. You a frisbee man, so that mean you get tossed. Got a new clip, so yo in the back. Numbers ran up, had to spit it with the chaps. Realest in the city, in my record, a fact. But your man's only chat when he do it in the raps like that. Man, squad go lost and don't really care what it cost them. You don't wanna cost them. My lifestyle awesome, couldn't decide if my gal wanted to, so I bought them. Don't run track, but I run up the check. Run, do it real big, gotta one up the next. Point to the sky with the one up, I'm blessed. I'm young, rich, and black, so you know I'm a threat.
Yes. Shout out, Brother Latif, man. Hey, real quick. What is a pumpkin circumference divided by a pumpkin's diameter? Pumpkin pie.
Big time. No man now. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime.
Tracy Jones,
take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Just running over with the dollar sign.
I plan to start practicing my circumcision skills on volunteer soon. Any tips? Hey man, if you have not already, don't forget patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/the BPD show. Y'all go ahead and make sure that you join, man. Increase the pledge. We got some great stuff coming up that you do not want to miss. So please get ready. One thing I'm going to put onto your ear right now is karaoke night. It's going down. So just be ready. So make sure that you got all that stuff. Patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/the BPD show. And I'll make sure I hit y'all up ahead of time so y'all can be ready for karaoke, man. Hey, and did you know that Bruce Lee had a brother who was faster than him? Way faster. Suddenly. Oh, that is awesome. All right, y'all. You know what time it is. Roll the Dragon just called it out. That is funny, Roll the Dragon. I do not like you. Bubba the Butcher. Yes. Industrial Hearts.
Get your coffee, your tea, drink whatever it is you need. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like it or not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change skin like we're supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like it or not, with Queen Azor, it's starting now, so stick around.
Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. It's coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics bro. DJ is clear.
How did the doctor cure the invisible man?
Know who I am.
He took him to the
ICU. Dropping them jams.
Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not.
I divulged state secrets.
It's
I was smoking heavily.
now.
I was charged with high treason.
Like it or not.
It's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hot treat.
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell dad jokes.
And not care who don't like them.
I actually like that last one, James. I'm not going to lie.
Hot treason.
He said, how did the Who kill the Invisible Man? How did the doctor kill the Invisible Man?
How did he cure the Invisible Man?
Yeah,
took him to
the ice. That's high quality dad jokery right there, man. It is today. What is today's day? Yeah, let me get back on focus. It is Thursday, April 21st, 2022. Welcome to Like It or Not. Rebecca Azor will be joining us momentarily. DJ Exclusive, you've been holding it down, man. I hear we got karaoke coming up. We got patron parties coming up. We got dad jokes. We got international relations. We got philosophy. We got a lot going on over here on this channel.
A lot. Coronal ejections, man. I keep trying to tell y'all gotta watch out.
That's why we theorize that's what happened to my internet yesterday. In the entire area, there's like no internet, and the guy said it was those coronal ejections. That's a very difficult phrase. Do not try to say that more than 3 times fast,
exactly.
Especially around family. I want to jump into this first story. Joe Biden is going to make a decision about student loan cancellation before August. And keep in mind, we have the midterm elections coming up in November. And with everyone screaming at the top of their lungs to President Joe Biden to cancel the student debt, because there is no doubt about it, this would be one of the biggest boons to the economy. Canceling the student debt would be one of the biggest windfalls for the United States economy, because you cannot cancel $4 trillion in debt and not expect the people to go out and stimulate. James, they're going to go and spend. They're going to buy homes. They're going to, be able to afford to send their children to school now, right? This money is going to circulate right back into the economy. And so Joe Biden is going to make his decision in August. I don't think, or let me ask it as a question, because, I say stuff, I think I get my head chopped off. Do you think he's dumb enough to say I'm not going to cancel the debt in August? I just don't think he's going to do that. I just don't think that's the decision.
Yes. He already got out there and said that he wasn't going to do it already, like last year. So,
James,
it is something stupid that he would do.
But this is,
I hear a voice.
As a white guy. I got to step in as a career politician.
Yes. No way he's going to do that.
who insists he's going to run for a second term.
Right.
Where's the logic, if there is any at all, to do that right before a midterm election?
Which, here's an option. Now, I don't expect him to actually cancel the debt. I think that they are trying to buy some time to figure out how the private investors who get profit off of student debt can still get those profits while holding this suspension status. In other words, right now, he keeps putting a hold on our repayments. We had a hold throughout the entire pandemic, 2 full years, right? And then they try to come and collect the debt. And I told Sally Mae to kiss, where she could go. But now they're starting to call again. They're starting to, don't ask me how I know, but they're calling Americans again. And so he's going to put another hold on it, or he has put another hold on it. Yeah. The only other option is for him to put a third and final hold where he holds these loans. We don't have to ever repay them. But somehow or another, they're going to make sure that the people who have investments in student loans, those people who get checks out of this, those people who profit off of education, I guarantee you they're going to keep making that money somehow or another. So I'm curious how this is going to play out.
Yeah, I really think that what they'll probably do is do it some way where college now is probably about to be expensive as hell, expensive AF, just to counter what he's done with the student debt. So I think we'll probably see a rise in college costs. But yeah, he did call for another pause on it, because I'm one of the ones that paused. So it's funny. I think it interacts around the same time, because I think he called for it for the end of September. He either pushed it back to October or September. August or September. So it works out perfectly that, he's going to make that decision at the end. But here's my question though. Which loans are you canceling? You just canceling the federal student debt? Are you going to get Sally Mae and all of them? Because if you are, man, yeah, go and get Sally, because Sally been on my ass for a long time.
James, I just, man, that was a dope, man. We got a DJ who know how to make everybody twerk and also give the dope ass analysis, man. That was some fire ass analysis. You right? Let's just get to the core of it, bro. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna say less because you said it all right there. I want to shift to the next story and see what you think about this, man. Well, actually, I want to give one more detail. Jen Psaki said earlier this month that Biden has not ruled out the idea of using his executive authority to forgive student debt. Now, here's the thing, David. I just want to tie in what you were saying because I don't want to leave that out. It would be beyond political malpractice to set up the entire nation to have an expectation that this is going to either be canceled or we're not going to have to pay these debts by having a permanent hold. If they set this up and in August, they decide to stick their finger in our eyes, we're going to give them the middle finger ourselves. Anyway, I digress. A$AP Rocky was arrested over the 2021 shooting. Rapper allegedly charged with assault with a deadly weapon. The LAPD we have footage of the arrest. A$AP Rocky arrested in connection with the 2021 Los Angeles shooting. The LAPD is waiting for the artist to arrive on a flight from Barbados. Authorities forced their way into the rapper's home after obtaining a warrant. Details of the shooting are unconfirmed, but TMZ reports that Rocky had performed at a Complex Con in Long Beach, California, November 7th, 2021. I have not followed this story in particular, but I am interested in where this is heading. A$AP Rocky, obviously a rap star. James, what are your thoughts on this story?
I haven't been following it that closely myself. So when I saw this, and especially that they got the warrant or whatnot, but just watching them and what all they did just to get in there was just kind of like, y'all have to do all that, man. Y'all took a battering ram to a gate, bro. That's kind of stupid. I don't understand what's going on.
I guess. Go ahead, man.
It's pomp and circumstance. That's all it is. Because if this would have been a white actor, okay, they would have went and just knocked on their door. Hey, Mr. Hanks, we got your letter here. We got a warrant for your arrest. But no, they went to A$AP Rocky's home and they got a whole battering ram to a steel gate and knocking on that shit like you knocking on a door. Make it make sense, y'all. Y'all try to do this, and it's always like this with rappers, and especially black rappers or hip-hop artists or R&B artists. They go over and above to make sure they serve or do anything that they need to do. And it's stupid as hell. Y'all could have y'all knew this man was out of the country. Y'all could have said, hey, Mr. Rocky, we got a warrant for your arrest. You could have just pulled up and arrested the man. Run the doorbell. He's going to open the door. He ain't going to sit there and open it. And then that's when you use the force to do all this extra shit. Now you got, it's three of y'all outside the gate, knocking on the gate. It ain't doing a damn thing. Y'all look stupid. Y'all look dumb. Y'all look real dumb.
You are so stupid.
We have someone. We have someone coming onto the show.
Okay. Hey, all right. Sorry, I missed that. No, let's move. We are ready. Here we go. We are ready for our sister from another mister. Rebecca Azor is here. Let's bring her into the conversation. Rebecca, good morning to you, Queen Azor.
Good
coming
morning.
in looking like a queen that she is. Okay, coming in with the crown high, the earrings on, and giving body wise up top like, hello, I am Queen Rebecca Azor.
Thank you, Bubba. Thank you so much. Good morning. Yeah, when your braids get old, I put this on Twitter. When your braids get old, that's when you feel like you want to style it, because you can't wear it down. You see these edges. This is the best I could do to slick my babies down, because baby, all in between, when you natural and got braids, all in between, it's just a fro and then the braid.
So that's where I'm at with it now. That's when you have to start styling. But good morning, and how are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Doing good. Good to see you.
Rebecca, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
You haven't seen me in a while. Even yesterday was a blur to me on the show. Yeah. There was a lot happening for us to get the show together yesterday. But I am here today, Tad. But I am here this morning, and I'm happy to be here.
That's good. Can I share something with you real quick? I had occasion to, I came to Atlanta last week, and I didn't tell y'all because I was in and out of town. So now I might as well just put that out there now. But I went to Atlanta, and something beautiful. I was sitting with one of my my wife's sorority sister. It was my wife and the sorority sister. And she was like, I just love that Rebecca Azor. She's an older lady, and she's, she's just she was like, she just keeps it real. She was like, but she's like, but she's so honest. She just be like, she'd be telling her job where they can take it. And I'm like, I'm going to tell her this because she was just glowing, and you never really know how many people are actually just impacted by your joy, Rebecca. But I haven't seen you since I got back in town. I wanted to make sure you heard that.
Oh, well, thank you. I really
and Ben, I knew you were here. I think Rebecca probably knew you was here too. We saw your Instagram post. I'm like, this ninja in Atlanta. You know what?
Seen it, and I kept moving.
I was in and out, though. I was in and out.
This how people be for real. They just be out here like, he didn't even hit us with, I'm in your. He didn't even hit us with, I'm in your.
I got to give y'all my trap phone number. I got it. I'm sorry. When I go out of town, I don't really take it to communication with me, but I did post that Instagram post. So I told on myself. So my bad.
And
but the point was, there was a good message that came out of it, James.
Rebecca, he was down the street. The location was right there. I said,
wait,
you was down the street. It said you was down the street, bro.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, because I was over. Okay. Now that was a random occurrence, Rebecca, and I'm gonna yield the floor to you. It was a random occurrence. No, I was dressed. Listen, you clearly know I was not trying to be on the internet by how I was dressed, but that barbecue was so good, I had to give an endorsement right in real time. So yes, that was technically right around the corner from you, James.
He was looking pretty bummy. It's okay though.
Oh.
Rebecca, you got the floor.
No, but you didn't give it us. I seen it, but you didn't give us an opportunity to be like, I'm in your city, and then we either not text you back, or you got to give us the opportunity because you came into our city.
Right, give us a chance to say, okay, enjoy.
The point of the story. Yeah. The point of the story was that.
I thank you for sharing that, though. That really, I love that. Thank you for adding that to my heart, because I needed that this morning. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now you got my eyes twitching over here. Rebecca.
Your eyes sweating. I saw that. I saw somebody say that on Twitter. So my eyes are sweating. I thought that was funny. But no, I needed that because I do, especially when she said she be telling her job where they can take it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be right there. So, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I love that people see me. You know what I'm saying? Are you all right?
I'm okay.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
I know that, and don't think that, y'all, when you Haitian and somebody's coughing, you got to do that so that they can do it too and get it out.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, no. I just I appreciate that people see me. Sometimes you are here and you're doing this job, and as much as you do it, and that people see you, but it's great when you get the commentary instead of focusing on the ones that are negative. It's just great hearing people actually be like, hey, I'm a fan of yours. Hey, I love what you do. Hey, you make me laugh. Even if I don't care about the other stories you be talking about, but you make me laugh, and I need that in the morning. Or I love the way that you tackle these stories. It's always something that we can give a piece of us to people who watch. And sometimes when we're not even expecting it, somebody's like, hey, because of you, this, that, and the other. I remember somebody, I was on The Hill, and I mentioned one little tidbit of a story about someone whose son died from not getting the appropriate care because they couldn't afford, I think it was like a $9 something, a medication that they need, right? And I spoke about it. I mentioned it. I referred to it in one of the other stories that we were talking about. That man found me on the internet. He was like, I heard it briefly. You said it for about 5 seconds, but thank you for mentioning my son's story. I really appreciate that.
That's
it means the world to me.
Oh, wow. The actual.
That's so dope.
The actual person.
That is beyond dope.
You never know who you're who's watching, who you're touching.
Wow.
I mean, I think about the story that we did for Mayor Rufus Davis.
Yeah, I love that man's name. I love that man's
Camilla,
name.
Georgia.
That's the blackest name mayor I've ever heard in the history of black names.
Rufus Davis.
But you know, he didn't even know. Look, we just doing the story because we thought, get that black man the keys to the city. That's the mayor. How does he not have any access to the keys to the literal building that he works in as the mayor of Camilla, Georgia? And we did that story. And he said we helped get his story all across places. People were calling him to do the story. We broke that story. We brought it to light, and then we got him on. So I mean, our platform. Some people,
Rebecca, we've been putting in some work. I forgot all about that story. You just instant recalled all those details. Jesus.
Yeah, and then I was looking at this other story. Look, because I'm gonna just be talking this morning. And then I was looking at this other story. Georgia posted about a young man getting his hair cut at his school without the parents' permission. I thought about the story that we broke in our first go of Like It or Not, and it was about a little girl, and the daycare cut her hair, and the woman who cut her hair said to her that she'll be more prettier this way. So the little girl had curly hair. She was a mixed race child, but she had curly hair, a black baby, and so they cut her hair off, and they said that she'll be more prettier when the hair grows back. When I did that story, when I broke that story, that was my first million view story, and I was looking at it. Actually came up in my the Facebook, what is it, memories, yeah. And I started off like this. Her hair was cut. It was cut. What would you do as a mother in this position? The mother says, and I said, girl.
You used to get on me about my broadcasting style, Rebecca. You have the broadcastiest voice when you want to.
I do. Florida A&M taught me that, but it was my fingernail because nail still was done. It was me saying, it was cut. It was cut. I was like, girl. But yes, we have definitely done so many stories. We have had so many views. For you guys that are watching, I didn't think this was going to be Appreciation Day for y'all, but every day is Appreciation Day for y'all. Everybody who watches and supports us, everybody who sends beautiful messages. Don't think that I don't see it. Lateef, don't think that I don't get them every Tuesday taco funds that you give me to go eat some tacos. Don't think I ain't receiving that. I receive all of it, and I thank all of you guys. And if I must go on May 1st back to my office on May 11th. If I must go, just know that I appreciate every single show that I've done thus far, especially through this pandemic. It's been amazing. It's been great. And it won't be goodbye. It'll just be see you later. Look, I'm about to cry. I didn't mean to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, so you ain't going nowhere. We're going to put that into the atmosphere right here, right now.
When two or more agree, so shall it be. So you ain't going nowhere. Hallelujah, somebody.
Extend your hands to the screens all over the internet right now. From Budapest to Pompano.
To Denmark.
To Haiti.
To Australia.
To Kabul. To every part of this country. We're about to turn the corner, and Rebecca ain't going back into that office.
No, I'm not.
I'm crazy enough to believe.
We don't have the graphics on screen, but go to patreon.com and make this happen.
Hey.
There
all right.
It is right there.
/ Like It or Not or / the BPD show.
That's right.
Ooh,
so
look, y'all gotta take a break because I need to go fix my makeup. I am not trying to be on the rest of the show. Give me 5 minutes.
No, it's all good. Let's twerk.
Right
James, give us some party music. Whatever you got. Do what you want to do, James. We'll be back right after this quick break.
Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Oh, Rebecca. Oh.
Big time. No man now. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime.
Shout out Malia. Malia, we appreciate you. Malia probably one of our youngest viewers. She be watching every morning.
Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time. Big time. Big time. Big time.
Tony Da Vinci, good morning. This is Big Time by Recaution. Shout out Miss Sophia. I love you, Miss Sophia. Thank you so much. Oh, Ben, I'm going to tell you something funny. The True Dragon says, why does Ben know CPR? Because all Keebler elves know the cookie production recipe. I'm weak. Y'all leave Ben alone.
How many safeties?
Only I can talk about being short.
Girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship.
And he's actually shorter than the Keeper. There's a little level up. Never mind. You know what? All right, y'all. I think we are ready to come back. Rebecca, you good?
I need a break from hysteria. Park like the one with the carousel. I get it lit in your area. I'm locked to the vision. It couldn't be clear. You couldn't pay me to care enough. I dare you to hate me supreme with the sound through the stereo.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the screen. I tell y'all, Rebecca Azor and short ass Benjamin Dixon, Benjamin Purcell Parnell.
Listen, what's funny is that most of us haven't seen each other because of the pandemic, but I had to set proper expectations that when I come back and y'all see me after the pandemic, I know I have kind of a big stature, but I had to make sure people understand I have a diminutive height. Okay. So, because I don't want people, when you run into people, people be like, listen, bro, let me tell you something. I remember sitting down eating dinner with some from these ladies one time, and they had heard about me. This is before I got married. And when we sat down at the table with this group of us, they said, I heard so much about you. You're just a lot shorter than what I thought. Like, what? What's
people say things?
Anyway,
People say a lot of things. People have no kind of filter sometimes. And it's like, yeah, I know I'm short, but I still get, well, back in my younger days, that's what you got to say. I still get the hoes, you know, whatever the case may be. And for me,
they were there with me. So here we go. Yeah.
Amen. And so for me, I remember, look, and this is way back in high school though. Like I was a cheerleader, all that good stuff, you know, whatever. Why this man came up to me, this boy came up to me and was like,
be careful with that.
You are so beautiful. I was like, well, thank you. You know, this is me in 12th grade. It was 12th grade. It was me getting myself, I'm about to go to FAM soon, you know, whatever. He's like, but you just have a mustache.
No.
But I knew I had a mustache. I was in high school. I wasn't shaving my mustache. It was like, whatever. And the thing is, because I have a beauty mark here that people think I draw on, but it's real. Because I have a beauty mark here, people always go straight there. And it's like, dang, if I don't shave that 5 o'clock.
So they see the beauty mark, and then it's right. It's amazing that the beauty mark is drawing attention to the mustache.
I give cat whiskers sometimes, and then I'll give So I started doing laser. Laser has really helped me, as you guys can see, and then I hit. You know, I'll do a nice razor real quick to make sure I go back up for the week. But laser definitely keeps me nice and smooth for the kiddies, because baby.
This show is
I could be right here with you. Okay. I could be right here. It's like, you know, taking a shot of Hennessy. It'll come right out. Now,
Rebecca, that's actually a decent segue, I think, to something.
Before we segue, before we do that segue, because we did a story and we didn't do it properly. I gotta. And this is going to be funny, Rebecca, and I need you to get some input on this. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I left hip hop in 2008. So I know I should. I know my kids even know who A$AP Rocky is. I honestly did not connect who A$AP Rocky was until I saw that Rihanna is pregnant, you know, I didn't know who he was except for through Rihanna.
Boyfriend.
Right?
You know him
Rihanna
from
boyfriend.
the song
Fashion Killer.
not only Fashion Killer, what the one that everybody knows, said I'm the killer. I love that song.
Doesn't ring a bell.
That got a problem.
Yeah. And yeah, I got a problem. I was working out to that the other day. But yeah,
doesn't ring a bell.
Hey.
Matter of fact, I love hip hop when Rihanna was singing "Live Your Life." Hey. That's when I left. So I had no idea who A$AP Rocky was, but now
that was a Kendrick Lamar song. You knew I love bad. Them my proud. When 2 Chainz was saying that in the song, you know
okay,
that.
so I definitely know that one.
Yeah, at least that. You know that. But, so don't give it to your kids because he ain't really making no music like that. He's just doing business moves and he's, partnered with his partner and making a beautiful baby. So,
I think, do you think that's why though, James? Do you think they could have been just over the top with this because he was supposedly there in Barbados with Rihanna? Like that's even worse for them to do it like that.
Me too. I like that too. Barbados. That was cute. Oh, Barbados.
But no, seriously, I think that
no, it's not.
And you're referring to him being arrested for I think a 2021 alleged shooting.
Right.
So they did this all of a sudden because now he hasn't even really been in the limelight. Last time we seen him in the limelight was when he was, I believe, in Amsterdam and he was arrested. I believe it was on drug charges, something like that. He was out of the country. He was in Europe. And I think it was Donald Trump had to go get him, something like that. It was something that happened in that time. I don't remember, but that was a while back. And then everybody's like, we're going to turn our backs on him because he made commentary about black people, like how he was saying, like, about Black Lives Matter movement. Now I feel like he just kind of removed himself from the limelight because he has a woman who's fighting for Black Lives Matter. And they're both in the business of fashion and just moving forward. So I believe that he turned a new leaf, especially being with the woman that he is with. And now that he's more in the, like, we haven't really seen him. He's been dating her and then they came out as an official couple, even though we knew they was official. But like they came out as an official, right. They came out as an official couple as she was pregnant for real. Even though we knew she was pregnant for a minute too. And as he became, to me, as he's been in the limelight, I feel like they're like, let's go get him. Let's stir some trouble.
Absolutely, Rebecca.
Rihanna's is a huge mogul, and he's a mogul as well. And it's all right. So for they were like, let's go and let's start some trouble. I feel like sometimes they want to go for high profile people, especially when they're black. And
Dwayne, rewind that footage, please. Dwayne, rewind that footage.
They want to go for black people, especially when they're high profile black people. And what they'll do is extreme things. The fact that this is headline news for something that we know he can. And they made his bail $50,000. Not that he couldn't make that bail, but that is a ridiculous amount of money for, like, why now? Why just now when he's supposed to have? She went home to Barbados to go have the baby. Why now? Wow.
Wow.
Not him knocking himself down.
Like, why were you even banging on the gate? 9 times out of 10, they probably pressed the button and let him in. The way that gate opened up, they probably pressed the button and let him in. You ain't had to go out there with a battering ram to try to get into this damn still-ass gate. What kind of sense does that make?
But it's all coming like he's been under attack all of a sudden lately. Ever since he made that comment about Black Lives Matter movement or whatever the case may be, ever since he was in jail or in some kind of trouble in that other country. I don't remember specifically
what it was. He shouldn't have said nothing bad about Black Lives.
But
I don't care about the organization. I'm talking about Black life.
It was the movement, I believe, but it doesn't matter. That was a time that we were all looking at him crazy. But I believe that, he sat with some good people and he sat everything else out. There was no more real interviews. There was no more commentary. I think the ancestors got him when he was out of the country, and then he got an opportunity to try it again. God gave him Rihanna again for him to try better and do. And he hasn't been in any trouble. Right. Just last week there was a rumor spinning from a random
Twitter user.
A random Twitter user who may have a following, but it's not so great that I would think that all of Twitter would take this and run with it, about him being a cheater, cheating on his pregnant wife, having alleged evidence. That didn't work. I can't believe Twitter really took that and ran with it, but it's Twitter. Then we have this. I think they, like, something about government officials, officers, whoever, like, yeah, did that guy's name come up in our sheet here? I mean, I know we have a lot of other murderers and other suspects and things like that, but let's go get this guy. I mean, and let's be really extreme with it, because he could be dangerous because he's high profile and he's black. He probably has guns and stuff. But let's go get this guy, because it didn't have to be all this. It's on TMZ. They're showing like 90,000 officers who ain't stopping crime up the street for real.
Right.
And they're showing all of them be parked in front of this man's home, had to take this. Did they even call to say, hey? Did they even, like, what was did you have to go? And this is what I'm talking about.
The man has an attorney. Did they contact his attorney?
This is a high profile person, and he's probably trying to do things right. He's about to be a father. Like, did you guys give him any opportunity for anything? He probably would have turned himself in. He probably would have spoke to his attorney first. Options here. But here's that no knock, that whole thing. You don't know. Like, these are the things that they're trying to. He is black and he's a threat. And that's what they wanted to move forward with. It wasn't that, and they had to make it like the first thing that you see in the news. We have so many other things. And these are the things that I'm talking about. They made it so extreme so that it can be the first thing that we see in the news. As the mother of his child is about to drop the baby, and this is supposed to be a special moment. And so here it is. Whack behind officers, government officials, want to go ahead and take moments from people, especially when they're high profile, and they're just pick and choose. They don't care who they're hurting in the midst. This is somebody who can definitely get lawyered up.
Come on.
This is somebody who has access to that. You guys set his bail to something where you thought he couldn't achieve it. You don't know. Then y'all don't know him. He was able to achieve that, come out, and now he's really going to lawyer up. And who knows if he'll press charges or whatever the case may be for them damaging his property. We don't know how that's going to look. Y'all played with the wrong one. I think in this position, they played with the wrong one.
And for the simple fact that Rihanna is a billionaire, Ben. I know you asked that earlier. So. She is a billionaire, and come on now, she got plenty of lawyers. Because Rihanna's hand is in a lot. She makes.
You think that baby? You think the father of the child ain't gonna be there?
Right.
He's gonna be there. She's gonna make sure he's there. Whatever he did, we'll talk about later, because I'm about to drop this baby. And like I said, it's a high profile situation. They've been gunning for her and him. I don't know what it is, but they're gunning for him, and they can't wait to find something on this man to put this as news that's bigger than Ukraine and Russia. News is bigger than any war that we're not even watching in the black countries. News is bigger than the fact that we got homeless people outside, right across the street from gentrification. They will make this bigger news.
Damn. So, you said that, Rebecca.
It's a fool.
They're gonna make a story regardless. They always trying to make something a story, especially when it comes to a black hip hop artist who's doing good, has not been at the limelight. And then, granted, he's been making music, but he hasn't been making music like that. He's been enjoying his time with his girl. Like him and Rihanna have been chilling real hard.
As
like
he should be.
Rebecca, it's something that Rihanna probably said, "Hey, baby, you got to chill out, babe, you got to chill out." And he's good. He's just been chilling.
I want to see Rihanna. I want to see Rihanna act up like a billionaire. I want to see Rihanna treat the police.
She's probably already done it.
Like billionaires treat
She probably already
police.
dropped the check as soon as they posted bail, because at first they did not. They prolonged it, as you can see, and then they finally showed how much it was going to be. I'm pretty sure she dropped that money and said, "Boy, you better come on, because we about to drop this baby. We'll handle that.
Come back over here.
We gonna handle that soon, because we not gonna be up here. You supposed to be in Barbados with me. What's going on?"
Barbados.
Right. Barbados. And I'm sure he's taking his ass right back over there, because that's where she wants to. I know she wants to have the baby in Barbados, from what I've heard.
Yeah, no, that's what they're saying. That's allegedly, because she hasn't given that information, but allegedly she's going back home to have the baby in Barbados with Barbadian doctors. I hope it's how you say it. I don't even know what's called. I made Barbadian up. I think it's Bayesian. I think it's Bayesian. But she's gonna do that, and it's good. I think that's great. I think that's beautiful. When I'm pregnant, I hope that I can go back. I can go to Haiti and drop a baby out there, have a dual residence, the residence. So yeah, really? I wanted to move to another story though. Look, I wanted to move to another. I know this is going to be an audible, but I wanted to go to this particular one. It's a strange pivot, but Viola Davis, since we're in right now, we're in the entertainment stories. But I wanted to go to Viola Davis playing Michelle Obama. I wasn't expecting that to be the first. I was trying
to come on to give a heads up before we do this. So we don't have the audio. I cut it so that we could try to avoid the monetization issue. But I combined everything from that.
Okay. So they dropped this piece, and here's her telling him, "You're a coon. You're running for president of the United States." She was, I guess, having a conversation with him, saying that you don't believe that you, I guess, are, I don't know, like you can't have Secret Service, you can't have the abilities that the president another president may have, or has had, or people around you. You deserve to have that. But she was telling him why, and it was because he was a coon, in a. Not an ER, but an A. With an A. Well, she was having that conversation with him.
Who chose
now,
it?
Here's my thing.
That picture.
My God, y'all.
Everybody got
David,
upset.
you might be banned from cutting B-roll for putting that picture.
Oh my God, today, because that was terrible, bro.
Yeah, let's pull that B-roll down. We owe Viola Davis more than that.
Everybody said that. They said, "I am sorry.
This wasn't my choosing." Rebecca wanted this.
We will not shut you. We will not cancel you for this. But this.
We just because we
be sure the white producer did not choose this.
It was me. I chose it. Yeah, we would not have it all.
Wait, Rebecca, wait.
It's funny in our story when David did it.
Okay.
Right.
Just
Wait a minute. In real time, we were about to commit an injustice and blame that poor white man behind the scenes.
And I told him because he didn't pick that. I did it. I dropped the last minute. I was like, "Hey, get this," and just put all these. There's
we were all
video.
more than happy to let David take that.
Matter of fact, I looked at it and I was like, "Do I really want to do this zoom on the picture?"
Viola, though,
Okay.
Oh,
so the story, but what you're saying is more important than the that image that we would be canceled for playing again. But shout out to Viola Davis. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Viola Davis. But it really is. Are we going to support when it comes out? We were excited though. I'm not even going to lie. Many people, because it's been, I think a little bit over a year, they were teasing this movie coming out about Michelle Obama, and so we were. People were saying, I don't know if we can, see Viola in that. Then they teased something of her actually doing the, walking in, I guess, or something. And it did give Michelle. And they were saying, you know what? I could probably see this. I'm excited to see Viola really take this on. And so now when we actually get a clip in motion with audio, and then we get her just doing that face right there. I don't know. It was...
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Rebecca, because I haven't seen that clip and I haven't watched the preview of it. Does it? Because looking at that part, I'm already not interested. But at least hearing it with sound, does it make it any better?
It makes it strange to be like, dang, Shell was like that.
Shell.
But then it's like, you know what I'm saying? But then it was like, at the same time, Viola, you wanted to go there. And I feel that for you because you are an actor. And I believe actors don't do that no more. They don't really get in and try to
They don't have the snot running down their nose no more. They don't do it.
Yeah, no, they don't really try to get. And Viola is somebody, she'll have the snot. She'll have it. She'll have the tears. She will roll on the floor. She got Caribbean in her blood, so that's just natural.
Right.
Okay. So, but
What is rolling on the? Anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
That's real Caribbean. When we really we get going through a crisis, we shocked, we hurt, we rolling on the floor. We let it all come out, hang out. Okay. So anywho, the people are pissed. The people are pissed that Viola is making this face. I'm literally going through the comment sections right now, and
it's a horrible.
They were saying that there could have been other actors that played this role.
Yeah.
For Obama, you can pick any mixed man with a fade and call it a day.
What's his name?
As long as he knows how to do the accent.
You could have got Jordan Peele to play Obama.
Anybody, you can get any man,
lighter
skin tone.
No, I'm gonna give y'all a throwback. Alpha Cat. They should have got him to play it. That's like a 10-year throwback when YouTube first came on the screen. He was the best impersonator of Barack Obama. Alpha Cat.
I think I remember you talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But Rebecca said any random light-skinned person with a fade could have played Obama. I'm done.
Now for Michelle though, like. I just think that we set Viola Davis up, and I don't know who now. Let me take it here. I don't know who thought this was okay. Usually, a lot of these production companies are white owned, and they want to tell Black stories, and they think, who is a Black woman who's popular right now?
Let's get Viola Davis. She has some.
Viola Davis is great. Viola Davis, she's great. I know her number. You know a friend of her. I know her husband. So we'll go ahead and we'll call and we'll get a favor and we'll see if Viola can do it because she's a great. That Black woman is she great, huh? Like Michelle Obama. When they go low, we go high, right? High five. High five.
High five, right?
Let's give Viola a call.
Friends are as crazy
Instead of looking at the features, maybe looking at. I'm not saying that Viola is not a great actress. I'm not saying that she's not beautiful. I think that lady is gorgeous. I think she's a great actress, phenomenal. She has taken on roles that she probably didn't see herself in, and she took them on and made us believe that this role can only go for her. With Michelle Obama, I love that she committed to the facial features. That she committed to, of course, getting the script down and the passion. But I think that the production got this one wrong. And they set
especially if this is the first taste people are getting. This is the first look that people are getting into this show. I don't know if that's the scene that you
It might be amazing though, guys. It might blow our mind. You know what? With all this talk that I'm doing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, to be fair, we should probably wait till like next week because it airs on Sunday.
Yeah,
actually, the first episode is already out. Yeah,
But,
and
so
that
what
one,
it
she
is
was in that one. Yeah,
I think each episode is about a different first lady, if I understand the show right. So
interesting.
You know what I mean? It could be one of those situations like, because this reminds me of when the Venus and Serena movie was coming out and everybody was killing them for casting Will Smith as Richard Williams. And he killed it. So you know,
they
were.
were.
You know what I mean, so
they were.
We should wait.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. I think it might be.
It seems like it's focused on Eleanor, Michelle, and there's one other person, Betty. I don't know who Betty is.
I'm only watching for Michelle. I'm rooting for everyone Black. That's the story.
Yeah, so she's in both episodes. Yeah, she's in both episodes. I'm reading the descriptions now each one. So
Betty Ford was
Betty Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll wait, but I will say that just that clip, like I said, she was passionate. Don't tell her, I ain't saying that she didn't do a good rendition of Michelle, but it just looked like she was set up. Like it was crazy. It was wild. But anywho, shouts out to Miss Viola Davis. I love her, mean it. I think that she deserves all of her flowers, as I think she's one of the greatest actors in this particular time. She has come from the bottom and made her way through. Even when she did the movie The Help, I think that was just a terrible production decision to give us the black and white kumbaya situation. And it was given like, not Viola Davis, not that strong black woman that don't need no man. Not her.
Well,
And they had the nerve to drop this during Black Ramadan. It's just too much.
What's wrong with
So that was that. I wanted to drop that. I wanted to definitely talk about that. Now I want to move forward on this other one, this other story. Sorry, it's going to be another Audible, but it is in the it is in Slack. I don't know if you grabbed it, David.
Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, it's the one with the white woman who's. Yes. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second.
What the hell just happened here?
I think she's.
That was
part of the Audible.
Wait a minute.
Like,
what type of time do we have left? We only have 8 minutes left. Bro, she jumped up like.
And then the bad part, like, she answered the door like she was an office door. Yes. Damn.
Oh man. I'm sure everything is fine. We'll get back. We have other stories. Kid Cudi fell out with saying he's not going to mess with Kanye West anymore, and Mac Miller's drug dealer is going to be charged with murder or something to that effect. I just can't really bring myself back together. James, you want to play some music? We just go to a break early and we come back.
No,
the after party. No, she's back. She's back. Rebecca Azor, we're live.
Rebecca wants to go.
We're not on broadcast television yet, Rebecca Azor.
I know. I got people here in the house is a fool too. Thank you. Sorry.
Rebecca wants to go to AP0. Wait, no. Yeah, AP0.
I apologize about that. Y'all was all in my business in the background.
Girl,
you put all your business
on your business, girl.
You put it on me.
It won't in the background no more. Soon as you addressed it on air, it ain't in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all know I live somewhere where we get constant, check-ins for our fire extinguishers and everything to make sure.
They take care of the property over there.
Yes, they do. Very well. Very, very well.
Okay.
Listen,
you must live in the white side of.
I do. I live in the white.
Okay,
I live in the white.
I ain't seen my landlord or my maintenance person in about 5 years. This shit falling as hell. Okay.
Listen. So that's what I'm telling you.
The hell out this shit.
Wait. Rebecca said that. Rebecca said
you want to reverse
on the other side of gentrification.
Yeah, you got to reverse gentrify. Now, don't go to areas that were once black that turn white. You got to go to the white side because the rent will always be lower. The security in that place, I mean, aside from you being black and everybody looking at you crazy and they kind of ready to fight you, but you'll have security in that place. You can make complaints and people will show up. You can actually go to the local Target, Walmart, Delartre. You can go to any one of these stores. Nothing is locked up or behind the register. You have access to everything.
I don't even know what that's like anymore.
You have access to
folks
everything.
out here in the sunken place.
All right, so I want to get this in for her before we go too far into the weeds. Let's roll AP0 before we go to the after.
If schools are allowed to teach gender identity to elementary children, then I, as an elementary educator, should also have the freedom to teach them about how God was not confused when He designed them. I should be able to teach them about Jesus and how God created them, a boy or a girl, on purpose and for a purpose. If you have the freedom to teach my child that they might be confused about their gender, then I should also have the liberty to teach your child that God did not make a mistake when He created them. I think it's time we even out the playing ground.
God certainly made a mistake making her. I could tell you that much.
Her kid?
Soon as that video was over, she went and probably beat them kids.
Beat the shit out of them kids.
You know that I was on air. I was trying to do something for the kids, and here I go with my own damn children, embarrassing me on air like this. This is so. But she did that, and she thought she. It was a lot. It was a lot happening. She was trying to get through the last few seconds of that.
Turn the tables.
But no, she thought she ate with that for real.
She did.
Really did. She
thought you ate that.
You did not. Give me back my plate, because I thought she was going to say something serious. But all it is damn raisins and the potato salad, and I'm tired of it. And I'm tired.
Ranch and the macaroni and cheese.
The delivery was terrible. You didn't give us what we needed.
Ranch in the macaroni and cheese, man.
Cats
The man said.
Cats in the fridge.
All right, I know.
Cats in the fridge.
I know some white people, but I don't know no white people that put ranch in macaroni and cheese.
Man,
Well,
look,
you
I
know
heard
what?
it somewhere, and they was like, "Yeah, you put ranch in your macaroni and cheese." I'm like, "Ranch."
Now I'll say this
What
about
is
ranch.
that?
Okay, let me say this about ranch. It's just a day for me, huh?
Girl, them coronal ejections. I'm telling y'all, they're all over the place.
No, that's that. That's that. What you want for lunch? Call. Right?
It is.
I do think it's.
But
what came to mind when I saw that clip, Rebecca, was your friend Benjamin Carlton, and when he came on the show about a month or two ago, and reminded everyone that not everyone is born clearly either. You know, people are born with both gendered sometimes. So I'd like to know how God didn't make mistakes, or I don't know how to phrase that, but you know where I'm going with it.
David, you asked us a deep theological question with 2 minutes left on the clock. Jesus,
you know, great way to close the show.
Looking around like,
well, you know, Rebecca wanted to bring it up, and I was like, I think this is necessary to kind of like at least
white hell.
I think they want to listen. Not on Black Ramadan. Now, listen. I honestly,
wait a minute.
I think that her commentary, her like, she wants, because people want to talk about whatever. There
she's
are
a
books
fourth
in
grade
schools
teacher,
that have nothing to do with sexuality, but they will make it about sexuality because it's black. Like, ain't nobody talking about nothing here now just because it's a CRT situation. It's whatever. As a teacher, and I believe, I don't know where she's from, but you can tell. You have an idea. It could be one of the states: Florida, Georgia, Texas. It might swing up into Louisiana a little bit, but we don't know. But that's just in those areas.
Virginia.
She gives me that. Now, however,
it's definitely giving me Virginia.
Okay, she can give me that too. She does. Now, for her to be a teacher and go to a school, they got those schools. You want to do that and talk about the love of God to the children? They got schools for that. Go teach at those specific schools that are designed to teach kids about Jesus. Not every parent is going to want that. You know, the type of education and teaching that she believes is happening in school for kids to say that they're not, they're not teaching the kids this. They're just saying, hey, we're not going to be bothering kids and telling them to identify with the gender or whatever. We're just going to have kids in school learning. That's what we're going to be doing, because that's what's important to us, is for the kids to be in school to learn. And she's so bothered by that she wants to do. Is it gentrifying it? I don't know. But she wants to Karen it.
She wants to co-opt that movement, yeah.
Yeah, she wants to go ahead and now say, hey, since they're doing this, why can't I start teaching the kids how God made man and a woman? And it's not, now, don't get me wrong, I love a good Bible study. My babies, when I have them, they're going to be going. Yes, they are. And they got to be black Jesus and stuff. They got to be good and black. But I'm not expecting my son or daughter's teacher to teach them about Jesus, to teach them about the Lord, to teach them about what's in the Bible. It may not be that child's beliefs. It may not be that. Now, when you take a child to public school, you already know what to expect. Whiteness. You expect white teachings, period. We already know how that goes. Then you got your math. Then you got your sciences. Then you got all of that other stuff. All those books that we had to read and things like that are already being pulled out of the schools, especially with the black ones. Now, you're upset about schools saying that they're not going to put pressure, or some schools, and it's not all education systems, because some education systems are still being very, very strict, and boy, girl, and no talking about sexuality or being black or those kind of things. Yeah, Florida. But her saying that she wants to go and be a Sunday school teacher, I don't know, go to a Catholic school, go to, one of those schools that are specific to religious teachings. They have those schools. Go there and be great. Go and sin no more, because you saying that you want to do this in these schools, that's a bit impossible. Not every kid is a believer in that way, or their parents are believers. Why wasn't that something on your heart before all of this? Before them talking about little boys and girls not identifying with being boys and girls, or why wasn't that not a conversation for you then? Now you want to instill that there was a man, a maid, and a woman maid. As for you in your house, that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? Just continue to teach the kids. That's what they're there for. That kid needs you to be their teacher.
Well, because it's never about them exercising their own religious freedom, right? It's about them being able to control your freedom, your life. It's never about just having enough constitutional rights to be able to go to their own church and preach whatever they want to preach to the people who want to hear it. It's always 100% been about being able to control the sexuality of every other human on this planet. That's what these evangelicals and these idiotic people, Neanderthals, are like. But I want to leave, because we're out of time, but I'll just leave it here. We can pick it up another time. Listen, good news to all the trans people in the world. God is non-binary based on the biblical definition. You tell me the gender of a spirit, you tell me the sexuality of a spirit, then we can have a conversation. DJ Exclusive. Run us a track, man.
All right, y'all. I'm out of here. See you guys tomorrow. I love you, mean it.
Take care, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.
What? What? All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Mean it. Awesome show today. Make sure that you go be great on this Thursday. It is Friday, Junior. So enjoy your day today. Your affirmation for today is: today, instead of worrying, I will proactively look for solutions to problems. Today, instead of worrying, I will look proactively. Today, instead of worrying, I will proactively look for solutions to problems. Y'all gonna be great, man. Love y'all, mean it. Right. Y'all supposed to be gone. What is going on? But if y'all don't leave, I'm gonna have Dwayne bring y'all back on screen. So y'all better go on somewhere. Oh, okay, look, there it is, right. All right, y'all. Love y'all, mean it. We will see y'all tomorrow. Be great today. Make somebody happy. Make yourself even happier. Love y'all. Deuces.
I've been around Lake Tahoe. Not once, don't stop, no. Cause I'm a brand new model. With a brand new model. Yeah, I called up Carlos.